Hello, good afternoon. I am Cecil Obina Aniakor, a master's degree student in Nottingham Trent University, International Business. Today I'll be taking you on a little journey, on a little presentation of my professional experience in Nottingham Trent University, my professional development experience, my professional development journey. Sit back and enjoy with me. All right, let's start with my strengths and my weaknesses. I undertook the Myers Briggs personality test, which laid out some of my strengths and my weaknesses. It identified some of my strengths to be I'm analytical and I'm self motivated. It pointed out that this meant I was a bit stronger or left brained, which is the more analytical brain, as opposed to the right, which is the more emotional, intelligent segment of the brain. However, he also highlighted some of my weaknesses, for example, positive attitude and teamwork. It was interesting to see it highlight my lack of teamwork skills because I had already known I was poor in team performances. This might have been because of the upbringing of the environment I was brought up in or a bad habit I may have formed. However, I was interested and very eager to fix this problem. To fix this problem, I had to know the characteristics of an individual with a poor positive attitude. And it was as follows: lack of confidence, bad time management. Sometimes they struggle to approach problems calmly and professionally. This was very interesting to find. Once I found out my problem areas from the Myers Briggs personality test, it was time to find out what professional development options I had or what choices I could pick to help me better myself professionally, to help me continually develop myself. And to do this, I found a few seminars online. First off was the TEDx seminar, which was titled Why We All Need to Practice Emotional First Aid. I took this seminar because it was an emotional intelligence seminar. It helped me to build up the right part of my brain, the emotional part. During this seminar, I learned that emotions guide or emotions are important because they reflect everything that we do. Most of the choices we make, be it in our everyday life, be it in our in business, most of the things we do is emotional. So if you can control your emotion, control the emotion of your workers, of your team, of your partners, it's very important. It's very beneficial because it creates harmony, it creates understanding between all the parties involved in the party, all the parties involved in whatever you are doing. So it was very insightful. Another course I did, although this was an ongoing course, is a LinkedIn course which is presented by Daisy Lovelace. The title of the course is Communication with Teams. This was also very insightful for me. It was extremely insightful. In this course, I learned about management communication, interpersonal communication. I learned about cultural diversity between teams, why it is important to understand culture when communicating, why it is important to understand culture when you're moving between teams, when you're moving between countries. She also talked about strategic planning and persuasion. It was extremely important and it was extremely beneficial for me. In addition to this online seminar, I also personally saw the need to go and get more relationships with the manufacturers of the products I use. I'm in the construction industry, which I will explain further in this presentation. Well, I work in the construction industry, and from the previous seminar I listened to by Daisy Lovelace, the PhD teacher in communication and leadership courses, I mentioned her earlier. She mentioned about building relationships with your business partners, and not just relationships, but deep relationships with them, deep relationships with their product. So this was really insightful for me, and to this effect, I've also booked a upcoming professional development course. Not really a course, is a seminar, is a just a meeting with the manufacturers, with the team. The I use their products in my country, and it will be good to know the team, know who they are, build relationships with them. This is something that I feel will be very beneficial for me and my business. Prior to looking into my processes, prior to looking into myself, prior to looking into my behavior, prior to looking into my strengths and my weaknesses, I understood I had some weaknesses, but I didn't understand what to do. I didn't even understand what weakness it was. But having laid out the plan, having laid out the weakness, having laid out the action plans, and having made myself take a particular step towards getting or towards bettering myself in that particular weakness, it has opened a totally new world to me, a total new world of ideas. For example, I see myself asking questions like culture. What is the person's culture? Before you negotiate, before you go into any meeting, before you go into any discussion, there are so many things that is important to know, which I wouldn't have, which prior to prior to looking into myself, I wouldn't even ask. So there's so many things I do different now, and there's so many things I still want to even do more. For example, I'm trying to work so much on my positive attitude. In my industry, construction industry, we are a very, very, very informal bunch. Uh, so I thought actually, however, I've been exposed to a new other way of doing things since my stay in the UK and since my time in Nottingham Trent University. I always thought construction was a very informal industry, but I see people doing it very formally, and yet don't not compromising on the value. I see supply chain in integrations. I see various ways companies here are, you know cutting down their costs, offering sustainable development in their businesses, and still making a profit, and still being achieving great results. So it is a continuous thing. My professional development is a continuous thing. Like I said, I've booked relationship seminars. I've booked product seminars to learn more about the products I install, the products I install in my country, the products I buy in my construction business. I have booked seminars to learn more about them with the manufacturers. I want to get to know them. I want to get build better relationships with the manufacturers. I want to get to know the products better, so that if I'm specifying a product, I'm specifying it confidently. If I'm being asked about an item, I'm confident in my answer. Is according to Daisy, is confidence comes from knowing. If you know what you're talking about, you are more confident about it. So this is something I've also learned, and something I will continually improve on. Hello, welcome to the second part of my presentation. In this part, I will discuss sustainable development and responsible management. Now, let's begin. What is sustainable development? Okay, so according to Harvard Business Review, in business, sustainability refers to doing business without negatively impacting the environment, community, or society as a whole. Sustainability can be generally addressed in two categories: the effects business has on the environment and the effects business has on the society. Sustainable development involves satisfying the needs of the present population without endangering the capability of the future population to satisfy its own needs. It's really all about improving the well being of everyone wherever they are. This means we want companies to expand, we want people to have the best jobs, we want everybody to have and be able to afford nutritious foods wherever they are. We want our economies to grow. We want people and the country or the environment to develop innovative technologies while keeping the environment safe. So in my industry, I'm in the construction industry. So what is sustainable development in the construction industry? Construction industry is one of the industries that emits the most waste. We emit so much waste. We damage the environment a lot. We mine cement. We mine a lot of. We damage the environment a lot, to say the least. And uh, for me, right now, I feel I'm very empowered to tackle, for example, the number 10 in the sustainable development goal, which is gender inequality. We have there's gender inequality in the construction industry. Very The gender gap, the difference in the gender gap is a lot. The gender gap in construction is a lot. We don't have a lot of women in construction industry, and I feel right now I'm very capable to get into the industry, get back to my country, and take action. And for example, I can establish high level corporate leadership for gender equality. Treat all women and men fairly at work, respect and support human rights and non discrimination, ensure health and safety and well being for all women and male workers, promote education, training, and professional development for women. These are just a few of the ways which I feel I'm capable of empowering and reducing gender inequality in my country. Also, climate action. Climate action is a very huge concern for everybody in the world. We know global warming concerns, and construction, like I said earlier, is an industry where we burn a lot of coal, we emit a lot of harmful gases into the environment. And the only way we can tackle this is by reducing our emissions, which is why I'm involved in the construction sector, especially in the renewable construction materials sector. I'm in the gypsum industry. I build with building boards, green building boards like plaster boards and gypsum boards, as opposed to the brick cement, which have a lot of very wasteful processes. I'm also taking trainings in British gypsum, like I mentioned earlier, which would help me know about the products, help me get training, and help me also develop the country, develop the knowledge to take action and change the building process in the country to more green lead certified products. Let's talk about responsibility management. Responsible management is an emerging concept that involves the integration of sustainability, responsibility, and ethics into managerial practices. Why is responsible management important? Responsible management is important because it allows us to be able to respond in an aware and conscious manner, and to accurately make decisions which are grounded in the reality of day to day managerial responsibilities, which are nurtured with self development and self awareness, which are initiated from within personal and individual level in seeking to understand other individuals. It has to be emotional. Responsibility management allows us to make decisions and review those decisions. Is guided by clear moral values as well as the courage to stand for them. Now let's look at a team situation. Let's look at how we handled it, and let's look at what we learned from it. Now, back in my country, Our construction team had to do a practical tender for a project before we were allowed to bid on the job. In Nigeria, I run a construction company where I import products and install the products according to the manufacturer's guide. We were invited because we had worked with the main contractor called Ilalan Construction Company on a prior smaller project. Our success on this job was dependent on how quickly we could finish plastering a 30 square meter room to high quality. The task was to gather a team, acquire the materials involved, and to do a simple room for the client. If we could finish the room very quickly compared to what they usually get or what they usually have, we would stand a better chance of getting this job. Now, what was the action? To complete this task, I knew that the I knew that teamwork and speed of delivery was very important. So what did I do? I called on the fastest plasterer I knew. And I know him personally. I know he's very quick. I know he's very good at his job. He's a very good artisan. Although he has not worked with us or trained with us, I know he has done a few bouts with us. He's an independent contractor who does a few freelance jobs, and we've used him here and there. So I figured out what what could the harm be? A short training would do. He was hurriedly trained for a day alongside two of our in-house staff. However, on the day of the job, he was nowhere to be found. He was a full hour late. What was the result? As a result, the slower yet trained in-house staff was assigned by me to do the job. He had been with us for over a year and he handled the sample room job while we waited for the faster artisan to arrive. As it was a real time interview and monitoring session, we could not complete the job the fastest. However, we did get the job because of the quality, I think, or maybe because of the trust the contractor had in us. But in natural circumstances, it was a bad day. It was a bad job. Things didn't go according to a plan. What do we take as reflection from this? This incident allowed me to learn the importance of teamwork. This also let me know the importance of training and particularly the importance of professional behavior. In part of my country where I am from, professional behavior is not very much looked into. It is not very much important. As we are mostly considered laborers in the construction industry, we are usually very informal. However, studying here, uh, attaining some professional development courses, taking some personal development seminars, studying here and having talks and trainings, listening to my lecturers, listening to my teachers, looking at business practices, looking at the United Nations Sustainable Development practices, I've realized that it can be done. It can be done professionally and it can be done in a way that saves costs, is sustainable, and doesn't harm the end value and doesn't limit the end value of what we offer, while still being efficient and professional in our behavior and delivery. I have also learned using Ferguson's team building strategy. Alex Ferguson, who is Manchester United's most successful manager. I've learned using his team building strategy that you start from the foundation in building a team. You must also dare to rebuild your team. You must set high standards and hold everyone according to them. These skills have been very vital to me in my professional development practice. And in conclusion, I would like to point out my three essential leadership skills for a manager. Number one, I think, is positive attitude. Without the positive attitude, you will give up. And I think that is the first mistake a manager can make. Second is emotional intelligence. And third, I think working with people and teams is essential. You cannot get anything done alone. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And Um, I really enjoyed my time in Nottingham Trent University.